Good day, everyone. My name is Vince Gelman, and it is lovely to be back with you again. It's been a little longer than normal since I've made a video. I felt the need to take a bit of time off to do some inner work, focus on my self-care. And now I feel called again to make a video, and I love making videos in the forest. It's always great to be back here in the beautiful forest surrounded by all these trees. Yeah, and I always feel so inspired here. So I wanted to play a little bit more with words. Some of you know I like wordplay. I like sharing secret meanings in words. So here's a little bit more for you in this video. So you likely know what it's like to feel done. Maybe you feel done in a relationship. You've been feeling for a while that you're closing in on completion in this relationship. It just was, it was moving towards being cooked. And you knew, one morning you wake up and you just knew it was done. You feel it in your heart. It's done now. I can feel it. Just kind of clunk. It lands, right? We say truth is in the heart. That's where we know. That's where we know we're complete. That's where we know we're done. Truth is in the heart. It's not in the brain. It's in the heart. And so, we often say, yeah, it finally came home to heart. It finally came to my heart that I was done in this relationship. So I just knew it was done. It was time to move on. So we can also look at a context like you're done with pleasing people. You're done with being a people pleaser. I just can't do it anymore. I can't continue putting other people's needs ahead of mine. I can't continue saying yes more than no. I can't continue being a caretaker at the cost of caregiving to myself. Or it could be in the context of like snapping at your kids, having angry outbursts at your kids, and one day you wake up and you feel grief, you feel sadness, and you just know in your heart that you're done. You can't keep doing this. You can't keep being this way. And so that's the thing. The heart tells us when we're done. The heart informs us that we're done. Maybe it's to do with a job that's unfulfilling. And you just, one day you say, I'm done with it. It's done now. It's all done now. So if we look at the word done and we get rid of the D and replace it with an N, then we have none. So when we embrace being done, we embrace a little bit more of noneness. There's an emptying that takes place, right? So we empty out the relationship. We empty out the part of us that wants to please. We empty out the part of us that needs to react at our kids. There's an emptying that takes place. And that's really what transformation asks, is some form of inner sacrifice. Something needs to be sacrificed if something's going to be revealed, right? Something needs to be sacrificed if something is going to be revealed. We have to let go of something if we're going to open to something new. If I'm going to open to putting myself first, then I have to first let go of putting other people ahead of my own needs. But in that moment when I let go, when I say I'm done with that, there is a noneness, there's an emptying. It's like, who am I now if I'm no longer a people pleaser? Who am I now? There's a mystery there. There's an uncertainty. What's my life going to be like now that I'm single? There's an emptiness now. Where am I going to get a new job? How am I going to find another job soon? There's an emptiness there. That's the courage. That's the courage we step into, is that in embracing being done, we embrace none. And none is not black and white. It's obviously, I'm using a bit of play on words here. There's some mosquitoes around. I'm playing with some words here. There's less, right? So there's less, there's an emptying. So there's done and then there's none. So let's look at this a little bit more closely. When we say, it's done now, this pattern is done, this relationship is done, it's done now, it's all done now, look carefully at that sentence. Because what we're also saying is, it's all done now. Now I'm expanding the meaning. It's not just about this pattern or this relationship or this job is done now. I'm inviting you to expand your perception of that sentence to realize that it's all done now. Everything that is happening and that can ever happen, everything that's ever happened and can ever happen is happening in this eternal now moment. Past lives are actually parallel lives. Everything is happening in this now moment. So time is an illusion. It's one of the great illusions that that we wake from in our journey of awakening. Time is an illusion. Death is an illusion. Separation is an illusion. Those are three great illusions: time, death, separation. So why I'm saying this to you is because when we say, it's done now, it's all done now, one perspective is that it can be sad. It can be a sad moment, of course, and we want to feel our grief because there's now the emptiness, there's the noneness, there's the uncertainty. But in that uncertainty, we open to everything that's all done now and all done for us. It's all done now. It's all done for you now. And in embracing none, in emptying, in embracing the emptiness of space, we become more open to the fullness of space. We become more open to everything that's done now. In embracing uncertainty, we open to possibility. See, so healing is about an inner sacrifice. Transformation is about a letting go. But in that letting go, in that sacrifice, in that space making, in that done and none, we open ourselves to something new, something unexpected can now arrive because we've allowed for it to arrive by creating space, by our courageous emptying. So in no longer being attached to being a pleaser, we can now open to a new empowering way of being, like, I am going to put myself first. Instead of snapping at our kids, I can open up to them a more divine quality of listening to my kids, of being patient with them. In emptying ourselves of this relationship, which was very unfulfilling and codependent, I may open up to a new relationship that's more loving, that's more nurturing, that's more soul enriching, or I may open up to meeting a friend out of the blue that's not a romantic partner, and I wouldn't have found this person if I had stayed in this relationship that kept me in a very closed way of being. Because you know what that's like sometimes in relationships. We kind of close off from the world. We don't see our friends as much. We don't open to adventures. But when we're suddenly single, we may take more risks. So I open to this new friend, or I decide by being single to take a trip somewhere, and in taking a trip, I find a doorway into a new possibility. Maybe I take a course in another country, and and it opens a doorway to something. But you see what I'm saying, right? But what I'm trying to tell you is that it's all done now. It's all done for you. And when we empty, when we embrace noneness, we open to life working for us. And that's when the synchronicities can happen. That's when mystery and magic can manifest into our life and bring us the next adventure, the next opportunity. And it's all done. You see, it's all done now. That's the secret of that word. It's all done now. We go into a deep place of grief and sadness, and we can get afraid because we're entering uncertainty. It's all done now. This way of being, it's done now. But simultaneously, I invite you to say, wait a second, it's all done now. And in my emptiness, I open to all that is done now and what's possible now in this empty space. What's possible in this empty space. So let's look at the third play on words. Get rid of the D, get rid of the N, and you got one. Right? Done, none, one. Everything is happening now. It's all done now. It's all one now. So everything is already here. It's about allowing it into our hearts, into our lives, through our courageous emptying, through our courageous surrendering, through our courageous opening, through our yes, our inner yes, our outer yes. We allow ourselves to open to something new inside and out. It's all done now. It's all none now. It's all one now. You see, and when we see everything as one, nothing is excluded. Nothing is left out. And if we really see it that way, then everything is available to us now. That doesn't mean you can have anything you want now, right? You might not be ready for certain things. You might have to go through another stage of development before you can find that soulmate. Maybe in letting go of that partner, you may need to be single for a while and do some inner work or go on an adventure somewhere. And then in a year, you'll meet that person. But I guess what I'm saying to you is that the universe in its infinite abundance isn't withholding anything from us. It's not about the universe withholding anything. It's about us opening to that which is already there, to all that's here now. It's about opening to the fact that it's all done now. Everything is done. It's all done now. I love that sentence. It's all done now. It's all done for you. So if we say to someone, you know, it's all done for you, man. It's all done for you. We say that in a kind of a sad way. It's like, God, it's all done for you now. But what if we said, hey, it's all done for you, brother. It's all done for you, sister. It's all done for you, friend. It's done. You see how wonderful if we just flip it around? So if we expand this perspective to our current chaotic rebirth, this transformation in consciousness that we're going through, what if we applied it to that? What if we applied it to that? What comes to you? What comes to you? Right? It's all done now. It's all done now. This age of darkness is done now, and there's an emptying. There's great sacrifice being made. There's great sacrifice being made. There's great uncertainty being embraced. Great noneness being embraced as people feel more scared and are walking away from jobs or losing friendships or losing any, familiarities, comforts, securities they once had as the world collapses and crumbles. I said before, and I've certainly written it down in some of my work, is that this world, it's not meant to be saved. It's meant to end. We're at the end times. It's meant to end, right? It's meant to end. It's meant to go. It's meant to be done now. It's it's meant to empty. It's meant to be a little more none, right? And if we accept that, and we embrace that, and we say it's all done now, then what's possible? What transformation can take place? What will we allow to take place that wants to take place and truly is the destiny of our planet? But you see, I allow the world to be done now and to be none now and to be one now, which is what the golden age is about, knowing our oneness in the golden age, this age of light. I allow that to happen more easily if I can embrace those stages within my own journey of transformation and transition. If I'm less afraid of emptying and going into the unknown and being done now in terms of the old me that I once knew, letting that self fall away, if I allow that within myself, if I embrace the mysteries within myself, then I can open to the mysteries of life. I can hold greater space for this monumental global transformation that we are in. I don't feel a need to rescue the world or save the world. That doesn't mean I don't have compassion. That doesn't mean I'm passive. That doesn't mean I stand back and do nothing. But I don't need to rescue or save the world. I can allow it to end. I can allow it to be done now. It's all done now, this world. You are done now. And it's all done now. That means I can now open to what wants to happen, what wants to emerge, what wants to arise from the empty space when we let go and give way. So I wanted to offer that to you, my friends. I hope that's helpful. I hope it's inspiring. If you would like support with your own process of transformation, I'm regularly leading online healing and activation ceremonies. They are on most weekends, Saturday or Sunday. This weekend, I work with the great spirit of Wolf. It's called Wolf Pack Healing and Activation. And it's 75 minutes at 3 p.m. Pacific. I think it's Saturday, the 11th at 3 p.m. Pacific. It's 75 minutes, it's 77 Canadian. I'll put a link in the description. I also will include in the description a link to my ebook, which is related to this topic. It's called A Global Crucifixion. I feel a mosquito right there. That's my time. That's my signal. I need to go. So I want to thank you all for listening and watching. Please subscribe. Please share, leave your comments. And thank you all for listening and watching. And I will see you when I see you. Take care. Bye.